Get ready to take your body to the elite level of performance. Call today to set up your free evaluation. 765-499-1005. Elite Performance, where the dream of elite fitness becomes a reality.
Good evening, baseball fans. It is the Championship Series edition of Just a Bit Outside. I am Quiggs. I'm going to ride solo on this one here for a little bit. Probably not going to go terribly long, too long, I should say. I just want to get some things in here, update everybody real quick on what's been going on. Big Ben's already here. Go Phil's playing at 8 o'clock. That's kind of why I wanted to get this done a little bit early, because I want to watch some pregame live. But before we get into the Phillies, let me bring up where we are currently at with the bracket and where we stand now. Philadelphia went out and beat Atlanta in 4 games, 3-1. Arizona sweeped LA. I don't think anybody saw that one coming. And Arizona not only sweeping LA, but sweeping with authority, especially in Game 3 when they had 4 home runs in a single inning. Game 1, they lit up Kershaw. So you want to talk about a hot bat right now? Arizona is scary hot. Another team, as you can see down there on the left side, Texas. It's a battle of Texas in the Lone Star State with the Astros taking on the Rangers. Texas already leads 1-0 after a 2-0 win in Game 1 where they bested Justin Verlander in Houston. So, and as we speak now, I'll pull it back up here on my end real quick. The Rangers are currently winning 5-3, and looks like we're going into the top of the 7th right now. They just started the top of the 7th. So Houston. The Rangers up 1-0 in the series, currently up 5-3 in the top of the 7th, looking to go 2 up in the series and take that back to Arlington. Get a catch up on comments here real quick. They absolutely smashed Kershaw, chased him after, I believe it was the first inning. I don't have the box score up in front of me right now, but Texas, both sides, both teams have incredible firepower, but the Rangers right now are they're scary too. You want to talk about teams getting hot at the exact right time. The DiamondBacks and the Rangers have definitely done that. In Game 1 of that Rangers series, I'll flip it up here real quick, and so that way just catch up on that. That was a 2-0 game. Pull up the box score real quick. Kind of a standard game for the Rangers as of late. Go up, score a run in the 2nd, score a run in the 5th, and throw a combined shutout. You see the big thing here, only 5 hits for the Astros on the day. I'll scroll down here, but the biggest thing that shocked me, though, was Jordan Montgomery for the Rangers going 6 1/3, only giving up 5 hits. Striking out 6. And I believe he struck out Yordan Alvarez, I think, 3 times. Let me look at the lineup here. Yep, right there it is. Yordan Alvarez 0 for 4 that game with 3 Ks. Now, he is battling a supposed, I don't want to call it a flu, but, a kind of virus type of thing. So, take that into credit for Game 1. But he is playing today, and he did go yards today. So, wipes that 3 strikeout game out of the way. But good pitching here early on from the Rangers. Montgomery going 6 1/3. I'm going to guess his name is Sorbs, Sporz. A little hard to read there, but goes 2/3 of an inning. Chapman had a little trouble there. in his inning, almost gave up a home run, but the ballpark barely contained it. And then Leclerc comes in for the save, strikes a hitter out to finish that shutout for game one. Verlander takes the loss over 6 2/3. Pretty decent line, but at the end of the day there, just in playoff baseball, not good enough. And we'll touch on the Philly series too when it comes to a good pitching performance from the opposing team, but nothing to really show for it there. Big Ben's calling it here. Rangers, Phillies, with the Phillies winning it all. Not upset about that one. And yeah, anytime Jordan gets a hold of a ball, it's going to go. Man does not need to provide any. I mean, he provides the power, but he just has to make contact and it's going to go. And there it is, 425 off the bat of Jordan. So maybe I think I can find the clip of that here, but I don't want to stay silent for too long. Let me I'll pull up what we've got going here for the current game. Follow along on game day, or it's currently on Fox. Phillies are upcoming at 8:07 on TBS. Top of the seventh, still 5-3 ball game. And the big thing about this one is Houston having to dive into their bullpen quite early. Valdez only going 2 2/3 innings, giving up 7 hits, 5 runs, 4 earned, struck out 6, but did give up a home run that raises his playoff ERA to a little over 11.5. So, Valdez was getting shelled early, and I watched a little bit of that one before jumping on his command. Just wasn't there again. Source and I watched it a little bit in the Twins game when we were doing that live, and his command looked a little bit off there, and thought it was a fluke thing, but here it continues, and Houston was able to take advantage early. Pull it up here what the series of events was for them to score all their runs. Simeon gets on first. Seager singles. Robbie Grossman reaches on a fielding error by Valdez. He threw it out in the right field. And that allowed them to get up 1-0 early. And then Aroldis Garcia singles on a line drive, makes it 2-0. Mitch Garver singles on a line drive, makes it 3. So, just taking advantage of what the Rangers are given. Pitcher throws a ball in the right field, and you got to capitalize when you can in situations like this. Source is a little off. It's all right. We're all a little off in one way, shape, or form, but I'm not going to judge against them. I'll get into our picks here too that we did a couple shows ago, so you all know where we stand in all of that. 4 runs, 5 hits in the first. So we're going there in Houston, and as it stands right now, possibly looking to go up 2-0, and Astros are going to have to fight back pretty hard in that one, though. Probably something that they're not used to per se, but I wouldn't put it past them to, make it a series, not get swept out. If the Astros get swept out, something's wrong. But we'll see to that one. That one's probably gonna, let me close this one out. That one's probably going to keep going on by the time we wrap up here. I'm not going to stay on too terribly long. Just wanted to update that. And let's get into the matchup I've been looking forward to. Forward. Whatever. We'll roll with it. And that matchup being the Diamondbacks versus the Philadelphia Phillies. Do my Bryce Harper impersonation there, as bad as it is. Let's see, that's our bracket. And in game one of the Phillies Diamondbacks, we've got the aces on the mound for Wheeler and Gallen. 2 guys that have been there when they've been needed most for each of their teams. Zach Gallen, was a Cy Young candidate. I'm pretty sure he still is up there in terms of overall chances to win it. Zach Wheeler toeing the rubber for the Phillies. And, hopefully they get him a little bit of run support this time around. He doesn't have to throw a no-hitter. in order to, register a win. But let's get into the lineups here for that game. I just had it up here on my phone, but the Phillies did leave off Rhys Hoskins on their NLCS roster. There's a big rumor going around that he possibly could make it after tearing his ACL in a spring training game. But, Philly Rob said not right now. He's off the NLCS roster, which probably is not the worst decision. You definitely need some guys who can at least give you something. Rhys Hoskins at this point would only be a pinch hit scenario, which I wouldn't say is ideal. The only time I could really see Hoskins making an impact in this game is if Brandon Marsh starts in left field and in the middle of the game or middle of a big inning, they decide to make a switch to a left-handed pitcher with Marsh up, pinch hit Hoskins there to try to get a favorable matchup, and then immediately throw Pashi back out into left field. So that's the only kind of scenario I can see Rhys Hoskins having anytime, even for the World Series for that matter, because he's definitely not going to play defense. He's not going to run bases. Really limited with what he can do right now. But Arizona will be in Philadelphia. Philadelphia has home field advantage for this series. And Arizona is going to send a lineup out of Carroll in right field hitting leadoff, Marte playing second, batting second. Tommy Pham's going to be your DH hitting third. Walker is going to be playing first, hitting fourth. Moreno, sorry, I'm going to I botch names all the time. So it's hitting fifth and taking care of everything behind the plate. Gurriel Jr. is going to be in left, 2, 3, 4, hitting sixth. Thomas in center, hitting seventh. Evan Longoria, whose last plate appearance against the Phillies was a pop out in the ninth inning in 2008. So just had to throw that little jab in there. He's playing third base, hitting eighth. And Perdomo, the shortstop, will be at the back end, hitting ninth. Philadelphia lineup is going to be looking the same as it has all postseason so far for the most part. Kyle Schwarber DHing leading off. Trey Turner playing shortstop, hitting second. Bryce Harper at first base, hitting third. Alec Boehm, who really needs to start picking it up, hitting fourth at third. Bryson Stott hitting fifth at second. Real Muto catching, taking care of everything behind the plate, hitting seventh. About a 3, 4. Stott hitting five. Real Muto hitting six. I can't count. It's been a long day. Castellanos in right, hitting seventh. Marsh playing left, hitting eighth. And Rojas in center, rounding out the lineup. And last series, too, if you want to talk about massive games and massive spots, that Philadelphia Phillies against that was that game 3 in Philadelphia right after the attaboy Harper comments. Oh my gosh. Phillies Twitter exploded. So much was coming out of that lineup, or not that lineup, out of that dugout after the Braves won game 2. And Orlando Arcia with the famous attaboy Harper quote, making fun and mocking him. Word got out to Bryce Harper that somebody was talking trash, and Harper responded with promptly responded with 2 home runs and absolutely death glared Garcia after each one. Not to be outdone, though, Nick Castellanos has the quietest 2 home run game in game 3, comes out in game 4, he goes, you know what? That felt good. I'm going to do it again. Hits 2 more bombs into game 4 off of Spencer Strider. And again, when I was touching back before on Verlander pitching for Houston, giving them a solid outing and not getting anything in return, Strider had the same thing in game 4 where he was throwing up 100 miles an hour up until the end and ends up getting the loss because his offense just was dead. It was 3-1 by the time he got pulled after giving up the second long bomb to Castellanos on the night, and just he was not happy coming off the mound. But give credit where credit is due. Asked after the game, Strider that I'm talking about here said, it has nothing to do with the playoff format, has nothing to do with days being off, 5 days before the first game. And I don't know if this is the direct quote, but Strider kind of in a nutshell says, if you can't control your own competitiveness and, be where you need to be mentally after a 5-day break, then you don't deserve to be there. So give credit where credit's due. Guy's going to call himself out. Not himself. I mean, obviously he was competitive, but sorry, just trying to catch up on the updates here on the phone real quick. But, for Atlanta being the team that they were, I thought Source and I both thought that was going 5 games. I was, game 2, I was incredibly upset. And whenever Source and John come back on, they can confirm this in the group chat. But I was losing my mind in game 2. Like, it's over. But, I'm always a negative Nancy, so there's that. Source, to his credit, not quoting him, not worried. He wasn't worried about anything. Cool as a cucumber, cool as could be. But, at the end of the day, he was right too. So what do I know? Again, just a guy with a microphone with internet access who likes to talk baseball. For those watching, thank you for tuning in here on the Championship Series edition of Just a Bit Outside. I forgot to throw that across the bottom. Make sure you read the bottom. Check out our sponsors there as they scroll by. We thank them, and you should go out and check them too. Let me pull everything back up here. Oh, another thing I want to touch on too. The Rangers, they had 2 good pitching performances so far out of Montgomery, and they had Evaldi going today. I didn't shout that one out, but Evaldi just mowing down Astros hitters, which, I don't think anyone takes as a surprise. That man shows up when he needs to show up. Speaking of guys showing up when they need to show up here, Max Scherzer was added to the ALCS roster for the Rangers, and he is slated to toe the rubber on Game 3 when Houston heads to Arlington. Now, is he going to be... I mean, obviously he's healthy enough to pitch. He's healthy enough to be out there, but is it going to be the Max Scherzer from, earlier in the year? Is it going to be the Scherzer they got where he kind of got hit around a little bit? What kind of Scherzer are we going to get? Obviously, the Astros are TBD right now, and I don't think they'll announce anybody probably till about a day before, especially if they lose this game, which I believe they currently are. Yeah, it's 5-3 in the bottom of the 7th there with 1 out. So Scherzer's going to toe the rubber, and quite possibly a massive game for Game 3 of the ALCS. And if Scherzer comes out and is the Scherzer of old and just dominating, basically, if they get Max Scherzer from when the Nationals made their run, holy cow. Holy cow. That will give you a 1-2-3 punch of Montgomery, Evaldi, and Scherzer. And in playoff times, too, you don't need a full 5-man. There's going to be days off in between. I mean, after this game for the Astros, let me look it back up here. I believe they've got a day or 2 off. Yeah, they play today. Philly plays tonight. Tomorrow's Tuesday, they're off, and they play again Wednesday. So they're going to have natural days in there. You could get away, depending on what kind of scenario you're in, you could get away with a 3-man rotation if you want to, really stretch your guys. Philadelphia's kind of set up in the same way when they've got Wheeler, Nola, and Suarez going out there, and possibly, Christian Vasquez if you absolutely need it. Rangers, or not Rangers, the Texas thing is going to screw me up so much. The Astros have Verlander. They've got Valdez. If Valdez can find his stuff, there's still McCullers they have. They've still got some pitchers too, but clearly they're down not 2-0 in the series. They're down 5-3, 1-0 in the series. Love throwing that jab out there. Houston being down. Let's go. But anyway, the NLCS is kicking off at 8 o'clock here. 8:07's first pitch. That game is going to be on TBS. I've already mentioned Nola versus Wheeler for that one. Game 2 would be Nola versus. Looks like right now they've got Kelly lined up for Arizona. So Nola versus Kelly. And then they'll be off the 18th, travel to Arizona for the game on the 19th. So 2 games in Philly, both at 8:07, both being on TBS of all channels. So that's where we currently sit. I'll pull the bracket back up here just so we're not all staring at my ugly mug all day. Appreciate you tuning in, though. Really do. And, I've talked to a couple of my friends, outside of baseball land. There's some football guys, but, everyone said that, baseball is not their number one sport, which is fine. Everybody's got their opinion on things. Everybody's allowed to like what they like. But playoff baseball just hits differently. I don't want to say that it means more because every game, means everything, especially at this point. But when you look back at the Philly Atlanta series, if you were watching that, you saw just pure emotion from both sides. And even to the point where that might be one of the biggest rivalries moving forward is Philly Atlanta, where there's a little bit of hatred on both sides, where you don't really see that too much anymore. Like back in the day, yeah, everybody talks about Yankees and Astros, Yankees and Red Sox. And that even got to the point where they hated each other, where Pedro Martinez is throwing behind guys and throwing Don Zimmer to the ground. Like, if you want to talk sports hatred, that's top level, but it seems like that's even cooled off a little bit. That series, Philly against Atlanta, really made it seem like there's a massive amount of hatred on both sides. Whether it be Arcia throwing out the attaboy Harper, whether it be Harper just staring him down after every home run, whether it be Castellanos, coming out after losing game 2, responding by saying, this team does better after we've been punched in the mouth. Philly didn't go down without a fight, and they brought it back. There's even video of Arcia snapping at fans. He's in the dugout. He's doing type of stuff like a child to fans in Philadelphia. Philadelphia broke him. The fans broke him. And even Acuna has to come in around, like, basically take his shoulders and turn him like, hey, pay attention to the game, buddy. Like, we got more things to worry about here. But that could be a topic for another day, I guess, because that's definitely something I want to talk to about with Source and John and whoever else wants to jump on. I want to talk that whole situation because I don't want to sit here and just blabber on about what I think, even though I could. I could. I'm one of those rare people who do love the sound of their own voice and love blabbing as I've had for the last 23 minutes, which quite honestly doesn't feel like 23 at this point, but we're winding down here, and I just wanted to present this real quick, give a quick update of where we're at. Let me check in one more time on the... Let's see. Looks like Houston is still losing to the Rangers 5-3. They have entered the top of the 8th. Let me see who would be pitching here. Looks like Evaldi's night was done. He pitched 6, gave up 5 hits, 3 runs, all earned, 9 strikeouts. Gave up 2 home runs. Sorbs is back in there. He pitched an inning with a strikeout. And looks like you've got... Who is this? You have Abreu in for Houston right now. So Houston threw out Valdez, then they had Montero, France, Maton, and now Abreu. So Houston's going to have to rely on their big arms to close this game out. Hopefully mount a comeback and take the series split into Arlington. And I think Arlington's definitely going to be a decent atmosphere. I'm not going to say it's going to be the best atmosphere because I think the best atmosphere is Philadelphia, which fingers crossed, if that NLCS goes to 6 games, I will be in attendance Game 6 of the NLCS. So hopefully Philadelphia. I mean, obviously I want them to sweep it or I want them to win it in 5, but it'd be really sick if they did get it in 6 and hopefully give me a playoff moment that I've been chasing for quite a long time. Let me pull up here. So I'll read off what the Source and I had as predictions where we stand now. Source had the Rangers over the Rays, the Twins over the Blue Jays. He had the Astros over the Twins, so he's already out. Or Astros over the Twins in 3, Orioles over the Rangers in 4. And him and I really screwed up there with the Orioles. Absolutely just getting destroyed. As Texas goes and sweeps the number 1 seed Baltimore. But I think Baltimore will be back. That was a Baltimore team that just got – I mean, I'm not going to make a mistake. They did get hit by the hot team. I'm not going to say the format screwed them. But a little inexperienced, a little young. Not in over their head, per se. But I think, take this slap of the face and they'll be fine. They'll be fine moving down the road. Let's see. We had Orioles over the Rangers and Astros win the AL over the Orioles in 6. So Source still has the Astros alive to win the American League, but it won't be against the Orioles. Could still possibly happen in 6. Sorry, I heard steps behind me. That's my dog. I thought my wife was home. In the National League, I had the Phillies over the Marlins in 2, Diamondbacks over Brewers in 3, Phillies over the Braves in 5, and Dodgers over the D-backs in 4. I severely underestimated the D-backs. I'll admit it. I severely underestimated them. They have come out on fire and have yet to lose a playoff game. Hopefully, being the Homer Philly fan I am with Zach Wheeler on the mound, hopefully that ends tonight. But, that's why we play the games. We'll see. First pitch will be in about an hour. I had Phillies over the Braves in 5, Dodgers over the Diamondbacks in 4, and the Phillies win the NL over the Dodgers in 6. So I still had the 6. I'm not changing off of 6. But the Diamondbacks are going to be hard to contain, especially Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll, out of the lineup I read earlier, is the one who scares me the most. Obvious Rookie of the Year, leader of that team already. It's going to be a spark plug early at the top of the lineup. You got to get him out. Getting him out is going to be key. It's going to be ideal. Let's see. In the American League, I had Rangers over the Rays, Twins over the Blue Jays. I had Orioles over the Rangers in 3. I called this sweep, but for the wrong team. Astros over the Twins in 3, and then Orioles over the Astros in 7. So I completely lost my American League winner. And then I had Phillies in the World Series over the Orioles in 6. Interesting note, if Houston wins and if Philadelphia wins the NLCS, if the Astros win the AL, I believe Philadelphia will have home field advantage. But if Texas wins the Rangers, it will be the Rangers having home field. So might have to double check myself there, but I believe that's how it breaks down. But as of now, that's where we're looking in the current bracket. That's where we're at in the current standings. Standings have been over for a while. I'm just blabbing on at this point. We see it right there in front of us. Let us know who you've got. Let us know who you think's gonna be the surprise team. Let me know who's gonna win the World Series, who's gonna win it all. I'm pretty sure after I say for the millionth time, which I probably have crossed that by now, once we see how games are going, We'll try to do a live watch along, possibly. Definitely in the cards if Game 6 happens in the NLCS. Definite possibility. We'll definitely see if we can get that to work out. We will keep everyone in tune. We thank you for tuning in. We thank you for watching along on the network. Thanks for joining me for half an hour and blabbing along. And thanks for Big Ben for jumping in earlier and throwing off his thoughts there. And tune it back. Let's go, Phils. Let's go, Phils. We're talking about the Fightins. And yes, I'm a homer, and I will never apologize for being a homer. For everyone here at the network, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check out our other shows. You've got the Sources New Hockey Show. You've got the Dukes coming on Wednesday. You've got the basketball show. You've got wrestling. You got racing. You got it all here. So just keep it locked into BW Sports One for anything that you need. Follow us on Facebook. Follow us on YouTube. Sponsors have been rolling across the bottom. Make sure you check them out. I am Quigs. It's been fun. Go Phils. Go baseball. Go baseball. I don't even know how to end these things anymore. But for those who tuned in, thanks for tuning in, and we will see